All right. I want to tell you, I kind of did get an idea of how to use this Smith's since 1886 diamond combination sharpener. Okay, I looked on the back, and sure enough, coarse is the yellow colored background, yellow, and fine, and that's 325 grit. And then the fine is the orange, which is this side. And I've taken the blades out of this broadhead. They come out quite easily. And now the way I'm doing it is that I'm just holding it in my hand like this. And I'm kind of turning it, and I'm laying it down right here. And I'm trying to hold the angle, and I can't tell you the angle, but just use your common sense. And I'm rubbing it back and forth. I'm putting a good bit of pressure on it. Now turn it this way so that you can get the other side and do the same thing. I'm giving it a good bit of pressure because this is hard steel. Now, I can tell you that I've done this about 10 or 20 times on each side. It definitely cuts the paper now. And it would not do it before. So I'm going to turn and get the other one. And it's easy to hold this at the same angle. Maybe even put it down there. Now we're going to get this side. And we will see, and cuts right into it. Now this is pretty stiff paper, but it wouldn't cut it at all before. And it is a lot sharper. Alright, so I just wanted to, now that this comes out here, you'll figure out how to put them back in there. What do I think of these broadheads? This is ones that came with the bow. The man that sold me the Excalibur bow, the dealer online, one of the bigger dealers, he included these slick trick broadheads with the deal. And so far I've shot 3 deer and recovered all of them. One of them was a double lunger that did not require even a blood trail. I just walked in the direction that the deer ran off and found her laying there about 50 yards away, quite dead. The second one, due to the beginning darkness of the hour, was actually either jumped the string or either turned quartering to me slightly, hit one lung and came out through the gut. The gut portion came out of the hole and plugged the hole up. The lung shot side that I hit on was fairly high, and the gut shot was fairly low as it went through the lung and came out through the gut. And when we did find the deer, there was a protrusion of gut out of the gut hole, the lower hole, stopping up the blood so that there was practically no blood trail. I went out there the next morning, still couldn't find any kind of a reasonable blood trail, but was walking around looking and found the deer laying there less than 100 yards from where I made the shot. Just looked over there and saw her laying there. Recovered the deer and got a really nice amount of meat. And I'll tell you another thing about that while I'm on the subject. See a lot of videos about people, see that one's still not cutting very good, about people, this one needs a little more work, getting in a big tizzy about getting the guts out of a deer that they've killed. You know, real fast, you know, they got to get the guts out to get the deer cooled down. We live here in Georgia, and the place where we're hunting, I would say that that night that deer laid there, shot her in the afternoon, almost at dark, recovered her the next morning, maybe around 10 o'clock, laid there all night, and the deer was naturally cooled off by then, but it was probably no, I doubt if it was even 50 degrees that night. It was more like 60. And then I got the deer and processed the deer. There was no problem with that. So I don't know, maybe don't understand it. Maybe the deer up in northern areas are more perishable. I don't know, but I've recovered deer many times. I'll say many, because I haven't killed that many, but quite a few times I've recovered deer 12 or even 24 hours later, and it had not spoiled the meat at all. That's just my personal observation. All right, see, I was sharpening these. What do I think about these slick trick? Gets the job done is all I can tell you. I've been doing a good bit of research lately about different ones. I got the Wasp jackhammer that somebody recommends. I've got the Schwacker number 202 somebody recommends. There's pros and cons to each one of these. The Schwacker opens up its mechanical and makes a very broad 2.25 inch, which can affect the penetration. These like this, there's a fixed blade of 2.25, no, 1 1/8. 9 times out of 10, you're going to get better penetration with this kind here, but it doesn't make as big a hole. So there's pros and cons to each one. I tend to like the smaller diameter arrowheads because I feel like I definitely want to get double a hole in and out the other side so that it'll enhance the blood trail. However, in the case of that doe, it went out the other side, and a little small portion of the gut was pushed out of that lower hole, and there was practically no blood trail. It was just amazingly little blood. So that was all the bleeding was done inside. All right, this is Gardner Israel, and I will hopefully be able to talk to you again about something about archery or gardening or some of the stuff that I do, and most especially about Yeshua the Messiah, who made some amazing promises about eternal life. So it'd be up to you whether you believe it or not. And by the way, if you noticed, he said, if you believe. That's the part of it that to get this promise, you have to believe it. I didn't make this up. It's in there. It's in that book. I didn't make it up at all. And I'm one of those that believes it. Didn't used to believe it, by the way. I thought it was malarkey, to use a word that's, I don't think, a cuss word. I thought it was malarkey. But I do not think that anymore. This is Gardner Israel, signing off.